Hey everyone, welcome back to Creative Callouts. I'm your host Giggila, and this time we are back in Season 3, and this time we have the one and only Krootzy. He's a 19-year-old developer, analyst, and head of religion at Team Gearsy. Krootzy, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
I'm doing great. So, let's jump straight into things. Obviously, you work for one of the biggest teams in all of creative with one of the most successful maps in the entire space in the pit. Do you want to say what you do over
hmm
there?
So I do a lot of the level design and planning. You could basically say I do everything that's not verse. We have a separate guy that does that because I refuse to learn it. Um, I do a lot of the level planning and organizations. Like, ooh, we've got this new gun that's going to be added to the pit. All right, where do we put it? Where people are going to be able to see it. Um, a lot of I'm pretty much the ideas man. It's like, okay, we could try this. Here's the pros and cons of this. I'm the data analyst too. We've got the analytics device. I look into all of that stuff, and I'm the head of religion, which is a joke title, but I still take my role very seriously.
Yeah, no, that's good because obviously, while the pit itself doesn't get like any massive changes to it in terms of it's still the
hmm
pit. It doesn't you don't
hmm
color change it every season. Um,
Yeah.
But no, obviously the weapon layout is obviously important for like showing off different things, and I bet it's also been annoying that this is a Marvel season, so they haven't added much.
Uh huh. Yeah.
So I can,
People asking me, when are you gonna add the mythics? And it's like, well, I can't because they're Marvel mythics.
yeah, yeah. That's always an annoying one for creative. As much as BR players love the uh, seasons where it's all collabs and all that, creative really
hmm
doesn't get anything from it.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's just really great that you can work on the pit, and it's such a massive map that continues to get so many plays a day and is consistently top 5 maps played each day. I think it is something like that.
hmm Yeah.
Um, I don't know the exact numbers, but I mean, I think you would as the analyst there. But yeah,
Pretty often top one or two, sometimes three, but
it's yeah. So obviously you and I have been around in the mini VR community for. Uh, I've been around a little bit more, but you've been peeking your head into a little bit here and there, mainly
yeah.
mainly with Jackus and snapshots, and seeing what he's been doing. So, how did you two kind of get together and start working together?
So it first started, I saw a tweet that Jack has put out about his um like chest system where he didn't use the traditional chests for snapshots. He used
Mm,
those collectibles, those like
yeah,
caches, and you ran over those and you got the guns. And I DM'd him on Twitter and I was like, "Hey, that's really cool. I really think that's an awesome design." And he was like, "Hey, thanks. I'm a big fan of the pit." And um, we had talking a little bit, and then after a little bit, he asked me, "I'm working on a video, and a video essay about the pit. Would you like to star in it as like a little interview?" I was like, "Sure." And so after the interview, we just kept talking. We kept getting along, and eventually we just grew really close, and we even went to Seattle together.
yeah. You guys went to Unreal Fest together,
hmm
um, which was, by the sounds of it and the looks of it, was great. 'Cause I saw the pictures, saw a couple of videos that you guys had,
hmm
and it looked like it was a lot of fun there. So yeah, what did you kind of do there on Real Fest?
So apart from having to wait like 5 hours because Jackus got lost in the airport and we couldn't find him, um, it was a lot of fun. I had my journal, my little notebook, and I had everyone sign it. And I was meeting all these people that I've known for like 6 years. And it's awesome to put faces to the usernames
Hmm.
and just kind of meeting everyone, learning new things at the talks. Um, I didn't get to meet Tim. I saw him a few times, but I never actually got to go up to him. but it was still just an awesome time. All the parties were great. Um, I got to talk with typical gamer
Mm.
for like 45 minutes.
Oh
Like, it was just
wow.
me and him just chatting it up, and Jackus was talking to Mustard Plays for a while. So yeah, it was a really cool place to just talk with all these people that I've known for so long.
Yeah, I think I'm laughing a little bit because mainly I remember your tweet about saying like at the end of one of the nights you just saw Tim Sweeney like sprinting or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it was the end of the very first night, the night where we had to pick up our badges. I was with Jackus and Gearsy, and we were going down the escalator. And from afar, I was like, "That looks like Tim Sweeney a little bit." And then as we move down the escalator and we get closer, and he's walking towards us, I'm like, "That is Tim Sweeney." But he's moving fast. He's on a mission somewhere. So we didn't stop him. We're like, hey, we want a picture, we want an autograph. He's a busy guy. He
Hmm.
was booking it. So we just kind of let him walk past. But it was so funny that he was just
Sprinting.
by himself, just like in this big convention hall. There was nobody else around because it was like maybe 11 o'clock at night. Things were winding down. And we just see him run across the main lobby, so confused. But it was certainly an experience.
Yeah, because I remember I actually talked to that with Jackus as well afterwards. I just made a like comment about it, and he said, "Oh, that was so funny." Um,
Yeah.
but I didn't know you guys were like going down escalators and then so close to him. But he's just like, especially late at night as well. You said it was like 9 or
Mm-hmm.
something. That's just
Yeah.
yeah, on a mission. Maybe the Fortnite servers needed help or something. You know,
Yeah.
maybe he had to really get somewhere, or maybe he's even just running to the toilet. Either or. But yeah, how long have you been kind of around in not just the mini BR community, but just creative in general?
Yeah, so since day one, I remember, so I was in middle school when Creative came out. I remember when Lachlan leaked it on accident.
Mm.
Um he made a video about Creative early before it was announced. And I remember sitting in class with my friends at the time in middle school being like, dude, this is what I'm gonna do. This is me, creative mode. And I was telling all my friends about how awesome it is, and they were like, yeah, it's okay. But I was like, no, this is the best thing that's ever happened in this game. First day, loaded it up, made the worst build imaginable. But I just stuck with it. I was making things and I was posting them on like the new creative subreddit. And that's how I originally got my creator code. Before it was the 1,000 followers, you had to be hand selected. So I would
Mm.
make my stuff, post it on Reddit, and then someone reached out to me and was like, hey, we like this. Would you like a creator code to be able to publish it? And I was taking a math test. I was in seventh grade. I think I was 13 at this point. And I see the message and I'm like, holy crap. I'm gonna be the only person in this school with a creator code. Because this was season 7. This was like everyone was playing Fortnite. So
Yeah.
that was a big deal. And so I've just been doing it ever since. I was making things all throughout 2019, 2020, 2021. I kind of fell into a dip 2022, kind of lost motivation, but UEFN when that came out, boom,
Mm.
I was right back in it. And right around the time UEFN came out, that's when Gearsy scooped me up.
Okay. So you really just kind of you've been around for like the maximum amount of time, pretty much, especially as a
Yeah.
creator. Um, I mean, you've been creating longer than I've been in Fortnite. It's yeah. I mean, I was late into kind of creative and like Fortnite as I started really chapter 2 season 3. So for
hmm
me, it's really it's like this upcoming OG chapter 2 is this is my OG. This is like
hmm
what I'm gonna feel the nostalgia for and playing. So it'll be really nice to go back to that. But
Oh yeah.
obviously, for you, just creating like, did your maps do like really well in that earlier times, or Were they
I
just?
had so that was back when some people might not know this, but there was a point where there was no discovery.
Mm-hmm.
There was just featured maps.
Yeah.
I had in those 3 years I had two,
Okay.
which is that's respectable.
Yeah.
It took me let's see, Creative came out in 2018. It took me 2 years to get my first feature. Um, definitely not as big as some of the other people in that space, but
Mm.
I was a hardworking man, and it paid off pretty well. Um, but yeah, I think my most played had like 2 million at the end, which by today's
Oh
standards
wow.
isn't a lot, but
For
in the
those
featured
times.
era that was yeah, in the featured era that was pretty cool.
Yeah, while I wasn't really part of it, I had looked back on like analytics of it all and seen like what the kind of stats were and that's kind of how it works back then to kind of compare it to now. And obviously
Hmm.
nowadays it is really different and obviously it way too many maps now in Discovery.
Hmm.
Compared to the featured what, three was it at some points?
Yeah,
Yeah,
four
three.
to five
Yeah,
before they started expanding into the
whatever it is
matchmaking
now.
devices with like the top three combat, top three variety.
Yeah.
But originally it was just four, and then sometimes there'd be a fifth like season map.
Hmm. To be fair, that was also when they had back, LTM's and all that. So they had
Yeah,
more of their stuff. Oh, actually, do they have more now? Because they've got like Festival and Rocket Racing and all that.
maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. But either way, it's still there's still a
Hmm.
lot there on just one page. But now there's like I don't even know how much. Um,
Way too many.
yeah. I mean, Discovery's just something at this point.
Yep.
It's a whole can of worms. I mean, the pit's always there.
Hmm.
It's always in one of the tabs. It's always there. It's because it's such a good, quick and easy kind of map. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not one of those. It's like complex or anything like that. So for just like a warm up or anything, it's just nice and simple and easy to play. It's a constant warm up map of mine, other than like peace controls or something like that.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's kind of good that you've kind of kept to the same kind of idea of the pit throughout all the years.
Hmm.
As I mean, when did that come out for? I mean, that was
2020.
yeah, that was still very early on, but I know it wasn't like
Hmm.
it wasn't season 7.
Yeah. Not by a long shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And having knowledge, or I should say, being in Discovery like basically 24/7 has led people to believe that I know all the secrets of Discovery. So people be like, "Yo, how do I get my map in the Discovery tabs?" Like, I don't know. I just work here. But yeah, a lot of people are like, "Oh, so how do I get a lot of plays? How do I get in home bar?" It's like I don't know. It's there's not some like insider secret, at least that I know of.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only way I know you can really confirm it is there's two ways. It's have a map that is in the couple thousand plays consistently,
Hmm.
and the other one is be a paid promotion. Um,
Yeah.
that one always is there. It's like what was it? There was one like ESPN released one, I think, was
Yep.
yesterday. So they've been there.
Hmm
Um, and I'm sure there's other plenty of promotional stuff that keeps going
The
on.
U.S. election one.
Yeah. Oh Jesus, that one.
At least that
How?
was on home bar.
Just yeah. It is so close to breaking TOS. It is so close.
Yeah, it's a definitely a gray area, both rules and also a little bit morally gray.
Mm. Yeah, it's also like they're going for a younger demographic in the election. What what people are playing that map and then going like, oh yeah, I'm now going to go vote for that person.
Yeah, I see where they were going. Like,
Hmm.
engage with that younger audience, so then you have them engaged, so then you can tell them about your policies. We're like, okay, I've got your attention now. Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's why you should vote for me. But
Mm.
I don't think that it works,
Oh, it
especially
doesn't.
not in Fortnite.
No, it does not. Yeah, because you're gonna have what the 4 to like 16-year-olds eager to vote. They can't
Mm-hmm.
vote.
Yeah.
I don't know. And also, you have this map for an international game in, a game where it's in every single country, and it's a map targeted for one country.
Mm-hmm.
That's another odd choice as well. I mean,
And for what it's worth, the developers of it aren't even American.
that doesn't
They're
surprise
they're
me.
Australian.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. But I mean, that whole yeah, it's like there's so many kind of grey area maps that keep. It's like thank goodness we're not in like the AI generated thumbnails really anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
that was painful.
The
Um,
box fight with
oh
an AI generated
Jesus,
images. Yeah, that was a
yeah.
weird meta.
Oh, that was how. Why did we let that go on for so long?
I don't know,
This
but
is
as you said that, I just saw
Jesus.
three in the same tab, all with over 3K players.
Oh, jeez.
I
At
just
least
saw
it's
a
not as
fourth
bad
one.
as it was.
Yeah, well, at least it's not that really bad phase where it was like insert country zone wars,
Oh
like
yeah,
Jamaica zone
yeah.
wars.
That was, jeez.
Yeah, we've had some dark times in
Mm.
Discovery.
It's like thinking back on like all the kind of times. It's like that kind of time frame really was one of the lowest for creative. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
trying to think what were other lowest ones. It's like I can't think of anything lower right now.
Not really, no.
That was literally our lowest point in terms of general community.
Mm-hmm.
I think mini BR communities had worse in like
Oh,
individual community
absolutely.
because I will
Absolutely.
go on the record and say this: the mini BR community sucks.
Sucks. I don't even see. That's the thing. I've never even made a mini BR, but I'm somehow always surrounded by it. Like
Yeah.
even before I knew Jackus, I was in and surrounded by mini BR creators. And I don't know why I subject myself to torture. Like I was in a Rise, which that's like new. That's like old head
Yeah, that is
BR stuff.
way old.
Yeah.
And it's now like since we've had I'll just say these part. We had the taking down of CBR, which was the big thing in mini BR.
Mm-hmm.
Which I am very proud to be the one to pull the trigger on that. Um, and then we had UBR very briefly hold the spot for about a month, and then I shot that one. And then CBR tried to make a comeback, and I shot that one. Um, I've killed off 3 news communities for the mini BR community, and killed off the mini BR community once. It's incredible. Um, so it's like the mini BR community is really something. I think it really should be just more about the creators instead of publicizing news and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like you have amazing mini BR maps in this community,
Yeah.
such as snapshots. You have Starfall, which releases in I can't say exactly when. I don't think publicly yet, but it does release end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that is really good. You have X Royale, who just released their new season a few days ago of this recording. So it's like the creator side of the community is amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
Very
mostly,
talented people.
mostly, but it's like they're extremely talented. But the community side of it, jeez,
Very bitter people.
it's like they either like one map, they love that map, and they hate all the others, or they don't like any, and they try to make their own. I swear that's
Mm-hmm.
literally all you get in this community. Um, but it's such a different place. it's like the difference between the mini BR community and creative community is such a drastic difference, and I don't know how.
Hmm.
But I mean, if we think more positive, what are like some of your favorite memories for like just Fortnite creative?
Oh, let's see. This is a funny story. I was 1 day away from getting my own creative hub back when they were made by
Hmm.
creators. I made one, it was approved, we went through all the changes. It was 1 day away from going live, and I get a DM from someone at Epic, and it's like, hey, we can't feature your hub anymore. Something came up. I'm like, oh, all right. Are you just moving it back, or are you canceling it? And they're like, yeah, we have to cancel it. We're gonna remove your code too. And I was like, okay, why? And they were like, we can't tell you. I'm really sorry, but we can't say. And I was like, okay. So that's what started the like 2020, like I really stopped doing creative because I
Yeah.
couldn't publish anymore. Right. That was like right when the ball was rolling and I was getting like very popular maps. And so I was like, well, dang, what now? So I stopped doing creative for about a year until UEFN comes along. And I'm asking in the forums, I'm like, hey, my code was disabled, not quite sure why. Will I be able to do this new engagement payout thing? Will I be able to use UEFN if my code's disabled? And I get a response on the forum that's like, here's my email. It's like something something at epicgames.com. Shoot me an email with your creator code. I'm like, all right, cool. I do that. And then he responds, fixed. No questions asked. He just re-enabled it. Um, so I've got him to thank. Didn't ask a single question, and he just re-enabled it, and he did that for multiple people.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, okay, now it's time for me to make a comeback. So I really went full in on UEFN, learning everything I can except for Verst because my brain's just not built for coding. Um, and not too long after that, I got a DM from the man himself, Gearsy, and he was like, "Well, okay, so you know how you have to be 18 to do UEFN
Yeah.
officially? The first thing he DM'd me was like, "Are you 18?" I was like, what do you, what? Why are you asking me that?" Because just completely out of
Yeah,
nowhere,
just
he's
out
like,
the
"Are you
blue.
18?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yes." He was like, "All right, so you're gonna start doing UEFN?" I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, yeah." And he was like, "All right, well, I'm looking for some people to work with as we move into the UEFN space and probably branch out into other games. Um, are you interested?" I'm like, "Well, heck yeah." Um, because I this was before all of this stuff. Yeah, I don't even have to say it. Like,
Yeah.
this is before all of the Gearsy stuff, and he was like in some beef before. Like Cipher made a pit map back in 20, whenever he had his icon skin. And there
Yeah.
were there was some like weird beef there, but it was nothing bad. And so I was like, okay, I don't really get the hate on the pit personally. I know a lot of people hate it, but I don't get it. I'm on your side, so yeah, I'll hear you out. Um, and then yeah, I started working for him. My first project was the Pit Zero build, which is like my baby. That thing's my child. Um, and that turned out super good. I'm super proud of that game still.
Hmm.
And yeah, but I think one of the funniest memories is me getting my hub taken away the day before, and they were also like, "Actually, we're gonna take your code too."
That makes
Um,
no sense.
yeah,
Like,
it doesn't.
I'm assuming you still
To
don't
this day,
know.
they still won't. They
Yeah.
still won't tell me.
Like, was there? I'm even just thinking, was there like a paid thing that happened that week instead for like Hub? Because I know they had a
No, they
couple
just
of
they just
those.
they just took last week's hub and made it 2 weeks long to fill
What?
in the gap. Yeah, so it was literally
Huh?
just out to get me. Yeah, and my hub was fire too.
That just makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's like just having like, okay, sure, maybe they were going a different direction with the hubs or something. Sure, maybe, but taking the code away, like,
Yeah,
what
it
sense?
has to be unrelated, but
It just so happens
still,
to
yeah.
be like at that time, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, um, oh yeah, we can ignore that Discord notification because that's coming in from you there just to show off the pictures. So I'll throw them up on the screen. Um, so I really need to turn off the notification sounds when doing these podcasts. Um,
I didn't think about that. My bad.
it's a fine. It's your notification, so I can easily explain that one on the podcast. It's just when it gets to like the conversations with the team or anything that because obviously
Mm-hmm.
we're working on the Fracture remake right now, and with more
Mm-hmm.
stuff in the work, we can't obviously say what's happening in the Fracture remake, and it's been blowing up as well. We're getting so
Mm-hmm.
many eyes on it, and yeah, you're probably the pit's still a larger map and probably will be, but I'm sure maybe the day of the release, maybe we'll get more eyes on it than the pit. Who knows? Um, but then after a day, the pit will take it back. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, yeah, I mean, obviously you mentioned it briefly, obviously about the Cypher and pit thing, and that's obviously when you came in, and it's like that was a whole
Yeah.
thing as well. Like, I just was like, it's a creative map. Do we really need to be,
Yeah.
going at it
I.
this much?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like
And yeah, that
that's
new Jogo pit map, which
mm,
I have shared my thoughts on that map at nauseum. I am in pretty big support of the Pit of Legends, that new like hero type thing.
it looks really
I
good.
was I was very adamant about if they didn't make it a pit, like if they made it like some kind of other like maybe team PvP, I think it would have done much better.
Oh yeah, no, it would have. I mean, I
I think the fact they made it a pit like handicapped themselves.
it really did, yeah, because it's like, well, not only does it put them in the pitch genre and like makes
Now
it
you have to
difficult
compete
to,
with us.
yeah, now you got to compete and like it's like I was fortunate enough I actually got to play it with Squatting Dog, one of the people on the team,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like the map itself plays well. It does,
Yeah,
and it is
I
really
mean, me and
good.
Jack has played it.
I do love the aspect of like having all the characters and all that, and like having the abilities. But I think it could have done better if it went in the style of maybe something like a team deathmatch. Maybe even they could get a bit closer to say like Overwatch in
Mm-hmm.
like that kind of style in like maps. Maybe not like game mode styles like push the payload or something like that, but it's in just straight up. You've got
Yeah,
teams, you've got the people with the abilities, you've got, or even just a free for all like open map town or like something like that.
yeah,
Obviously they
but I think
work it, but
making it the pit was just a weird choice because I mean, when you think about the pit, it's this is a debated talking point, but it's definitely meant for like practice.
oh
Pit
yeah,
style maps, or the main pit at least, is for practice, is for
mm,
warming up, and it's I mean it's a little bit of a sweaty game. Like some people argue that it's not, but I would say that it is.
oh yeah,
And you know the one thing that sweats love is random gimmicky overpowered things.
yeah,
Which I just think I was very impressed with the Pit of Legends. I thought it was
mm,
very they're doing amazing stuff, but I think it could have done better if it wasn't kind of like squeezed into a pit frame.
yeah. I really like where they're going with like the story of it, making a whole story. I just think it's difficult to make that story on a pit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like I honestly think they could have worked it as say a drop down thing, but it not drop into a pit, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Because yeah, now that you can't have like any like world design,
Yeah.
you can't have like lore in your arenas or anything, or like
It's like the most they
because
can
it's
now
just a
change is the
open.
lobby, like the top
Mm-hmm.
bit, and the side panels,
Yeah.
which I will admit it looks great. Like the whole thing looks great, and visually it looks better than the pit, as in because it's your one is creative pieces and like their one is custom
Mm-hmm.
made, but just because it looks better doesn't mean it works better as a pit.
Yeah.
It's like the pit is straight to the point and it's for practice. It
Mm-hmm.
it does
Yeah.
its job really well.
It's very
Whereas
beginner friendly. It's
exactly,
very
yeah,
non-English friendly.
yeah. Whereas the Pit of Legends, while it looks great and it still plays well, I think it does make it
Mm-hmm.
so it's harder to evolve it.
Yeah,
So
I definitely agree there.
yeah, so it's one of those things. It's like it's one of those choices you have to kind of make as the direction you go with these type of things. So
Mm-hmm.
I am still interested to see what they do and how they progress.
Oh yeah.
But obviously that will be something when they make the next updates and all that. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe I haven't. I'm actually surprised I haven't done anything for Halloween. Um,
I think
because
they
if
added a few like banners.
oh okay, yeah, they probably added some stuff, but no, it's definitely. I would have been a bit more just expected to see like an entire maybe even pumpkin just slap banged onto like some of the lobby and like
Yeah.
it's also like we don't see the pit. You don't do like many like event stuff,
Mm-mm.
which is
As much
like
as I want to.
yeah, it kind of defeats the purpose of it just being like a practice bog standard map. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like the most there's ever really been there is like just a favorite button, and that the billboard for that. But it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, that was a whole other thing for a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like that's about the most promotion you have in it, and it's not like that was a big issue. Well, I mean, they made it out to be, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a whole other talking
yeah,
point we can spend hours talking about.
yeah,
Yeah, the only event-based things that we did was we added the like OG quote unquote pickup sound
mm.
at the start of the first
Oh,
OG
gee, yeah,
to like it was like to like celebrate it quote unquote.
mm.
And that's like all we've done event wise or like thematic wise.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much you really can do on like a base practice map for events. It's
Yeah.
like the most you could do for Halloween is literally stick a few pumpkins around, which
Uh-huh.
which I mean it wouldn't be a bad thing. I think if you just maybe put a few pumpkins just up in the lobby area and just did that.
Uh-huh.
I mean
Yeah.
that, and it's not like that's a massive memory thing either, so it wouldn't decrease like
Mm-mm.
ping for practice or anything. So
No. You just gotta convince Gearsy to let me do that.
yeah, to be fair, it's like maybe I'll try and even convince Gizzy to come on here. That's my next. That's one of my next things. Is like I don't even have messages with him yet. So, but I'd love to have him on. But obviously, I
Hmm.
know he can be a busy person. So, to be fair, it was like a little bit to get you on because I asked you actually initially for being on season 2. Same with Jackus,
Hmm.
but you didn't respond to me on that one. You didn't. You didn't even read
Well,
that one.
you know my DM
Oh
situation,
yeah,
so
no.
I
Your
apologize.
yeah, no, your DMs. It's like I'm gonna if I actually find the image somewhere, I'm gonna blur every single one of the images on each person, but I'm just gonna show the number of messages on
I
the
get like
sidebar. It's just like
more than a dozen DMs a
yeah,
day.
you had so many. I'm gonna blur out all their names and everything, but it's like you had so many, and it's hilarious looking on the outside of it, but it's also like, jeez,
Hmm. I lead a busy life because
yeah,
I'm also I guess what you would consider like player relations. I guess people come to
yeah,
me for like support and like bug reporting, and I run the QA server where we have our like trusted testers.
mm.
And they're always like, "We should do this. You should do this. No, you should do this." Um, and people tagging me on Twitter, and it's like, "Fix this," or like, "Add the Zappatron." It's like, "I can't," or like, But yeah, I have to deal with a lot. And I Gearsy doesn't have a very big social media presence. He only tweets when he absolutely
Mm.
has to. So during all of that, like cipher stuff and like all of that got then reflected onto me because I'm the
Yeah.
only one that really posts on Twitter
Yeah, because
on the team.
you're
So
the
like,
you should have PR in your title as well.
yeah, I gotta be a
You,
PR
yeah,
guy.
you should talk to Krootzy about that one because I feel like that's a title you need, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, because I do
And
HR over at Genesis, and also now recently promoted to a COO there, but it
mm-hmm.
does mean I'm running some of HR and then also doing some of the operations as well now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's like I deal with all the staff facing issues and all of that. So it's like, and a couple public ones as well. When things get out of hand, we had a situation that nearly went public, which I won't speak too much on, but that one was a nightmare of a thing. And then obviously dealing with HR in a mini BR community while I was in UBR, that was Jesus. That was
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that was painful to say the least. Um, I was on break at the time, and being HR and on break is not a good combo. I can tell
Mm-hmm.
you that
Yeah.
much. But now that I'm out of break, and I did take a little bit of this while I was, in the works of getting season 3 back to running, because obviously it's the last episode was in April this year, which
Mm.
is a while ago,
Yeah.
and it wasn't my intention to keep it that way, but I did make a few tweets about it because my old setup couldn't handle it anymore, and
Mm-hmm.
I physically could not edit the videos or anything like that, so it was tough to record and edit. But now I have a new setup, which by the way is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's an actual PC, which I love,
Uh-huh.
because I was working off a laptop before.
Mm.
So the massive upgrade between the two, which means I can
Mm.
now do these podcasts and actually interview people I've been wanting to for a while. I mean, I messaged you in what? It was, yeah, February. Um, but obviously with your messages and how many you got, you were probably busy as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
that was busy time anyway.
yeah. Um, but yeah, no, it's like this community really is something. Everything from like the pit to mini BR to competitive, and like,
It never ends.
oh, it never ends. And the only way it's going to end is Fortnite ending. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just talking about like an end event. It would have to like completely shut off for people to stop talking about it, because
Mm-hmm.
it can be a really good place, this community, but on the other hand, it can also be really
Mm-hmm.
stressful, as you probably
Yeah.
experienced with the cipher stuff. But it's like I stand kind of neutral on that. I'm just like, it's creative, it's a map. If we can,
Yeah. Like, I've always been very adamant. You can think whatever you want. Like, you can have your own opinion. Do not say that what we're doing is illegal, because it is
mm,
not. You can think whatever you want, but don't say that we're breaking the law, because that's where it gets like a little iffy. Don't accuse me of a crime.
yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, yeah. It's like when it came to like the legal side of it, I was like, because obviously it was about like trademark stuff. It was like, but there isn't a trademark going out. There's no legal current trademark. So it was like, they have every legal right to make a pit map. So it was
Mm-hmm.
like, because when they said, "Oh yeah, you weren't the first one to make a pit map," yeah, we were the first one to make it in Fortnite, and oh, it was. I remember reading all of that, and like,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, it's
I
just
mean,
creative.
the only thing is that any of the takedowns that I'm like, hey, this is a little bit too similar, Epic, what do you think? They
Mm.
have to approve it. We don't
Oh
just
yeah,
get to do it. They have
yeah,
to be like, they have to agree. So be like, actually, yeah, that is a little bit too much like your map. we're gonna take it down. We don't just get to run amok,
Yeah.
because then I'd be taking Jax's maps down for fun.
What did Jackers do? Apart from be Jackers, but what did Jackers do?
That's that's enough for me to strike him.
Oh, I will tell him that as well.
But yeah, going back to what you said about upgrading your setup,
Mm.
my first two, and I guess two and only featured maps, I made on my phone.
Oh wow,
I was a mobile developer.
wow,
I didn't have a PC.
damn that
Um,
that's
until
even more.
my second feature, and back then, a feature was like, guaranteed like $20,000.
Oh yeah.
Now you're lucky to get $8, but I was like, dang, well, I'm 15 years old. What should I do with this? And
Mm.
so I just got myself a computer.
Yeah, no, that's really good. To be fair, I haven't earned like too much from this community. To be fair, I am, well, I won't say what for. I am now earning a bit more from this community,
Mm-hmm.
from work I'm doing, and hopefully I keep that part up because that's great. Getting paid is really fun. Um,
Getting paid is low key awesome.
oh yeah, it's awesome.
Hot take: I like getting paid.
I don't think that's a hot take. I think 99.9% of people will agree.
Yep.
I don't think there's a single person who doesn't like being paid. But yeah, no, this has been great. It's been really fun of an episode. Is there anything you kind of want to shout out, mention, or anything?
Other than my Twitter, just at Krootzy. I got the Ripley. That's my guy. You'll know it's
Yeah,
me. My bio now says HR at Team Gearsy. Recently
yeah.
updated. Um, so yeah, I don't post much that's like good, but if you want to get in contact with me, anyone listening want to like chat it up, feel free to. I'm pretty active. Um, but yeah, keep playing the pit. Um, we've got some pretty cool stuff. Um, in in the brainstorming phase, some pretty awesome stuff that aren't pit maps branching out.
That's good. So yeah, no, those would be good to see. Especially more stuff that isn't just the pit because I know you
Mm-hmm.
can be a lot more than just a pit person.
Uh-huh.
So
I've got a lot of talent, and it's time that I finally get to show
yeah,
it.
no, it's good to finally get it out there. And hey, maybe you can even help Jack us on snapshots.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna need it.
Hey, we don't say that publicly, we try to be supportive, but no, Jackus is great, but we always
I
have a
had to
load of.
share a hotel with a room with him.
Yeah, you did. I feel bad for you. Um,
You should feel bad for him. I snore loudly.
I don't think there were any videos of that one, thankfully.
Ugh,
But
dude, it was he woke up the first night. We had two different beds.
hmm,
Um,
you had to clarify that.
and yeah, and we woke up getting ready to start the first day, and he was like, "You make insane noises in your sleep." I'm sorry. I put some earbuds in, and I see that he's messaging me right now. He can hear me. But yeah, I feel bad for him. I snore like nobody's business, man.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah. Make note to self: do not get a hotel room with Krootzy.
Yeah, do not. I mean, he's going to again next year because we're going back.
Yeah, I remember you guys
Next year,
mentioning that.
Unreal Fest in Orlando in the middle of summer. That's gonna be awesome. Um, but yeah,
But yeah, no, I'll make sure to throw up your socials again. I mean, I would throw up the pit, but I think he's got enough players anyway.
mm-hmm.
Um, it's got just a few players playing it. Currently.
Yeah, not
Um,
too many.
yeah, not too many. Just a couple K. Whatever.
It's a it's an indie game for sure.
Yeah, just kind of small in this space. But yeah, no, thank you very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Completely fine. We just need to now try and convince Krootzy to get on here. Not Krootzy, Gizzy. Gosh, dang it. Oh.
You want to redo that line?
It's staying in. It's funny. It's staying in. It's funny. We'll just, yeah, I'll leave it in. It's less editing work for me.
Say, I am here.
It's because I'm looking at your name right now. That's why. Oh, maybe I should just open up. There's Gearsy. There we go. So now if I look straight at the Gearsy name, let's try and convince Gearsy to come on.
There we go.
Got it on the second take. But yeah, thank you very much for coming on. And thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.